Okay, let's get started. Good afternoon. I'm Kenta MOCHIZUKI from Yahoo Japan Corporation. Today, we'd like to hold a workshop titled Asia Pacific Region's Best Practice in a New Internet Era, Safe and Secure Cyberspace for Years. As written in our workshop proposal at APrIGF website, due to the widespread of smartphones, more and more people, especially young people, are using social media for their communication and expression, and often sharing their opinions and pictures. On the other hand, this trend also gives rise to a negative effect. I mean, easy access to illegal and harmful online contents, as well as information. Such access causes serious problems, and in worst-case scenario, these serious problems cause physical impacts in the real world. Therefore, an urgent response to these issues is undoubtedly required. Having said that, what kind of responses will be effective to address these issues and challenges? And who should take appropriate measures and how? To discuss answers to these questions, today, we invite some of the best professionals in this field from Asia Pacific regions. Profiles of all speakers have already been at the APrIGF website, so I don't repeat here again. First of all, Dr. Yokozawa will make a brief presentation on the discussion made in 51st APEC TEL meeting and throw three key questions to this floor. After that, Mr. Sakamaki, Professor Fan, Mr. Shinha, and Ms. Wong will make a brief presentation individually. I, on behalf of Yahoo Japan Corporation, will also make a presentation after Mr. Shinha's presentation. After finishing our presentations, we would like to move to the panel discussion. There, we would like to discuss three key questions given by Dr. Yokozawa. And after that, and if time allows, we would like to invite some questions from the audience. Finally, I will make a closing remarks a little bit. So because the time is limited already, 10 minutes has already passed. So I'd like to read these opening remarks here and move to the next agenda. So Mr. Yokozawa, Dr. Yokozawa, please start your presentation.
Well, sorry for the mess. Thank you, Mochizuki-san. And I am very honored to be here in Taipei again. And I actually, Taipei is my most visited city in the world. And I was here last month. And I'll be here in the next month and again. And so that's very familiar for us, right? Japanese people, very the culture is very similar and very friendly, and also the APrIGF is the very nice arena for us to discuss about the collaboration in this region. So I said the collaboration. This is, I think, this is the key word in this session. If we talk about the children and youth. Protection on the internet or online. So, well, actually, please skip to the next slide. Can I do this? All right. Awesome. Sorry. Okay. Well, if you can see only the large characters here in the slides, please keep in mind. Throughout this session, I have given all the panelists to answer to these three questions. Very simple. One is the who should lead the child protection or youth protection online, and the second one is can you do that by themselves, or do they need some collaboration with who and how? And the third one is the next step in your mind, the panelist has in my mind, or everyone in this room has in my mind about the youth and child protection online. So, well, these three fundamental keywords. Every panelist will try to answer to these questions, and maybe that is a very good start of the collaboration in the APrIGF and also in the global context to talk about the child protection and youth protection. So I will just mention to our past work. Well, I personally have the experience to speak about this, issue, how to protect a child and youth. We had a very good discussion in the APEC TEL in Boracay Island in Philippines last year, and we have discussed this particular question with many economies. We call it economies, not a country. So in APEC, so Japan and Philippines and Malaysia, and here Chinese Taipei, the representative has gathered and shared their experience in protection of youth and child online. So this is a very fascinating experience to me and for everyone. And we have just discovered so many aspects in this, in this issue. So firstly, we have found that this is a very complicated issue, not very simple. If we talk about how we can protect child or how we can protect youth online from what? For example, child pornography and child abuse is one of the top, issues on the internet. And second one is cyberbullying and inappropriate messages. I have learned a very sad accident, or here in Taiwan, that a young actor has committed suicide after the bully and on the internet. So that's a very sad and very serious situation on the internet. We won't do that again. So the personal information protection is also the very important case here, and the harmful contents like sexual contents and drug violence and the counterfeit and others, and also the phishing and scams of young and youth are very vulnerable about in this case, and others. So the second one is the biggest help is youth themselves. Okay, so this is very important message, and we used to have had concepts that the adults and the society or country or the company must protect child and youth. So this is also the common sense in here today. But adding to that, we have slightly changed this concept to the youth and child must protect themselves by themselves. Okay, so they are also as well responsible for themselves. So this is some common concept that the ISOC has released, the concept that collaborative security. So the collaboration is here again very important, including the child and youth themselves. The third one, the non-governmental collaboration. This is one of two very important collaboration direction. That's the private and public. And the fourth one is cross-economy collaboration. So the many messages, most of the information is coming from abroad. If you are living in Taiwan, many information comes from Japan, China, US, and the other countries. So maybe the very influential information is more than the domestic information. So in this context, we should take care these four fundamental points. And so this leads to my questions, three questions that I will repeat it again. Who should lead the discussion in protecting child and youth online? And the second one, can they do by themselves? Or how can we collaborate with others? And the third one, So what are you thinking in the next step? So, okay, so this is me, very short, and maybe we can move on to the Mr. Sakamaki-san about the Japanese experience about protection of youth. So please, Sakamaki-san.
Could you change the slides to my thing? Yeah. Yeah, that one. That one. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Good afternoon. Masaki Sakamaki. I'm a retired official of the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications of the Japanese government. Actually, I think I have to confess at first, but I work for a cell phone company right now. But still, associate a lot of my job with the government and work with the younger colleagues of mine. And at first, I like to mention that this is one of the most favorite place to visit, and this is the second time actually to come over to Taipei. First time is the 2011, right after the tsunami disaster, we had the International Telecommunications Association conference, which is incidentally going on right at the Regent this week too. But I spoke there and I mentioned that we Japanese very much appreciate enormous help by the Taiwan people for the disaster. And I'd like to repeat that appreciation. And my role is to explain the Japanese government initiatives and how we've done it and what's going on within 5 minutes. And I try. But on the first one, let me, oh, wait a minute. No, it doesn't. Okay. Let me just briefly mention that as of the fiscal 2015, we have 150 million contracts of cell phone. And so that's well over the population of the country. And so actually, one person have more than one cell phone. And we want to focus on the situation of the people under the age of 18. The title said youth, but the youth is not really youth. Teenagers under the age of 18. And 90% of the high school students now have cell phone or mobile devices, and some 80% of the students have smartphones. And even the almost 40% of the elementary school students have a cell phone, and 13.6% of them have smartphones. So it's getting really, but anyway, we just, the red part, sorry about the Japanese wording in the chart, but the red part is the smartphone. The first column is a total. So, and okay, when we talk about the usage of filtering service that we are fostering, just around 50% of the contractors, the people who use mobile phone, have filtering services. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Okay. So the government's role, what's government's role in this our initiative to secure, safe, and ensure a safe and secure environment for the teenagers? And let me say first, maybe to raise awareness. Secondly, then to set a framework. more concretely, setting a framework or the place to discuss and come up with the solutions to foster a variety of measures. And then a legal framework that can support the coordinated efforts of the private sector and the nonprofit organization, and parents, schools, and others. So also more concretely, we can say maybe we should focus on enhancing the literacy, internet literacy, and then the filtering services. Actually, in 2008, the Act bill to develop an environment that provides safe and secure internet use for young people was proposed in the Congress. We call it Diet, and then passed, then enacted in the following year. So the principles of this law as promoting filtering service and enhancing, improving ICT literacy. It's basically we support, the government supports the private sector initiatives. And that's what the framework says. And they set up the kind of council, the place to discuss. They call it the headquarters, but the promotion of education, support for children and young people, and establish the master plan. And so we are just about in the third round of making the master plan. And the law actually requires telecom carriers to provide filtering services to the younger generation, teenagers under 18. And the law also requires to make efforts, so they don't have to, but requires the manufacturers, PC vendors, application providers, ISPs, others, to make efforts to develop the devices and the filter applications for the safe and secure internet for teenagers. And that's what, and also additionally, the telecommunication business law, it's a basic law to regulate the telecom carrier and protect the benefit of the consumers, users of telephone services. It's been amended over the year to require, additionally, the telecom carriers to explain their services fully to the customers when asked. So filtering service is included in that respect. Wait a minute. I think I explained this. So, and actually, the cell phone carriers provide the filtering services by their servers, and also filtering applications when asked. And so, for customers under 18, the filtering services kind of default setting at the moment. And okay, talking about literacy, we need to talk about internet literacy of parents as well as the children, because parents have to be involved in putting filtering applications and so forth, and how to educate the kids to stay away from the potential risk. And the parents often trust their children. I did, and that was my mistake. I found it, and my son got involved in some of the overcharging issues. So, the parents often make mistakes by trusting their kids too much. And anyway, the Ministry of Post and Internal Affairs and Communications has done extensive research on internet literacy among the students, high school students. That coincides with the OECD recommendation that came out in 2012 to foster awareness raising, education for empowering parents and children. And so using this extensive research, they came up with the what they call an internet literacy assessment indicator for students. And overall, they do it every year. And overall, the indicator has improved. But in some cases, like the unsuitable deal risk, in others, overcharging and getting acquainted with the sort of malicious website and companies that overcharge and everything, remains kind of lower. So we need to do something about it. We have to set up an environment to improve this at home and motivate parents to recognize this kind of risk. To do this, so I think I think this is one of the responses to Professor Yokozawa's question, but I think the private sector really should take initiative. They should get involved actively, and the government supports those measures, initiatives. So Japan Internet Safety Promotion Association works as a third-party organization. The ministry helps, and the Minister of Economy and Trade, Economy, Trade and Industry, former MITI, is involved in it too. Cabinet Secretariat Agency is involved. The PTA, Parent Teachers Association schools, those are of course involved. And all these kinds of activities, I mean, it all started in 2007 with the what they call eNet Caravan. I'm not sure of the English connotation, whether it's right or so, but I mentioned this because I started in 2007 when I was director of Internet. And now we have certified lecturers of more than 2,000. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get it done in 10 seconds. And we have about 2,000 activities every year or so. And I'll pass on to other speakers on private sector initiative and so forth. I'm sorry for the...
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to be a guest speaker to join this forum because Cyber Angels Speak, we already have a international cooperation with SIA from Japan. Since 2014, we already visit Tokyo to sign a collaboration contract. And last year, we also invite SIA and also IN Japan to Taipei to have an internet governance forum in June last year. So this year is the third time we have the opportunity to share our opinions for internet safety governance in Taiwan. So next page. So. I'm a professor from National Genji University, Department of Radio and TV. The starting point, I involved with internet safety action since 1999. I'm not sure everyone, if it's you are Taiwanese, you remembered a social events happened in 1999. A high school girl was sexual assault and also killed by a soldier in a military museum. Since then, we find that the point of view why he want to kill a young girl with just dressed like a high school student, because he spent lots of time to surf on internet pornography and during his duty. So that's the reason why we focus on internet safety education since 1999. And also we cooperate with several NPO for children and parenting association to enact and to push our government to value the importance of internet safety action. Therefore, in Taiwan, we already have a special office focused on internet safety, online complaint service, and also produce the educational material and also some competition for young kids. For the past, from my point of view and experience, I will divide the Internet Governance Forum in Taiwan, divided into 3 stages. For the past, maybe our government and also our NPO members, we focus on illegal and harmful content, how to prevent that. And also we focus on the internet content rating standard. So at that time, since 2000, we visit IWF and also several European company to have cooperation. But since 2009, we try to expand to empower the parents, teachers, as well as children to value their internet literacy. And also we try to push the IT industry for self-regulation. That means in Taiwan, there is only a light touch on internet governance. And for the future, we try to empower digital citizens and also expand the international collaboration such as this forum so we can cooperate with each other because internet is a global media. And in Taiwan, we start to trace the children's online safety behavior since 2004. So it's research by National Genji University and also Cyber Angels Peak. And for the recent status, we find age 8 to 19, that means from the primary school students and also junior high, senior high, and also the freshmen, okay? 8 to 19 years old children and young and youth. They holding mobile phone in Taiwan almost 76.7. And among this 76.7 holding the mobile phone, actually almost 90% they holding the smartphone. And for the weekly media usage, actually from age 8 to 19, they spend almost 15 hours on TV viewing and 16 hours on internet usage, but 20 hours on mobile phone usage, and only less than 13 hours for taking exercise. That's for the children and youth in Taiwan. And for the internet usage frequency, actually they use this like every day. Only 6.7% children and youth, they don't use internet often. And for the weekday usage period, it's focused on the after school. So that means the 4 p.m. until before they going to bed, like 10 p.m. And also several few students focus on maybe midnight. And also the weekend period like this. And for the internet protocol, actually, I think the top one, 3 years ago, the top one internet portal is Yahoo, but now, sorry, it's become Google and Facebook, and then Yahoo and China Telecommunication, I mean CHT, is a telecommunication company, and YouTube. So that means more and more students, they use the social networks in recent years. And internet uses motivation. The top one motivation is surfing and watching video, and also listening music, and also using Facebook. And the top 4 is searching, and the top 5 is online game. And for the social network participation, since 6 years ago, only less than 20% joined the social networks, but recent 3 years, almost 60%. Okay, and for CyberSpace Peak, because we think cognition and also affect mind lead to one's personality, so we think education is very important. So prevention and also the online complaint action and also the after process caring service. And this is our website, and we have already finished 15 microfilms on 15 different internet safety issues, and also 3 illustration books, because we find the internet safety education should start preschool. And this is the special office sponsored by our government from the Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Economic Affairs, and also National Communication Commission and Ministry of Public Welfare, something like that. And for the core value, as I mentioned, is prevention, action, and care. But for the mission for iWing, that's the special office sponsored by our government. I mean, six bureaus. And prevention, action, and also care. That's the reason why we will still enact self-discipline regulation for the IT industry, and also still keep on doing the internet safety education. And also we provide any filter, even free or not free, the filter information, and teach the parents to know how to install the filter. And every 2 months, we will arrange the discussion meeting to invite the NPO representative and also IT member to discuss with each concern. And also we still have some research, and also to translate the recent research from different countries and parts of the world to put on our website. This is our mission. And since the office, it become expanded from only an online complaint service, and then expand to pre-process education and also after-process caring service. So if we look as a internet Institute of Watch Internet Network, when we look at our online complaint cases, it's growing. And this month, I mean June, yeah, it's more than 1,700. And this is complaint categories for iWing. We also put this statistics on our website. Actually, you see more than 70% is internet pornography. Okay, keep on going. And then almost 60% from overseas IP. That means we should have strong relationship with our partners from different parts of the world. And this is our satisfaction survey, almost 91, because our members our staff, they just taking care of this less than 4 days. I remember I asked IA Japan, they take care like 14 days, but they got 19 staff. We only got 11 staff. Okay, so the after process caring service is we provide the online safety counseling service, including the take care of the cyberbullying from the adults to the young children. And so this is the numbers. It's also growing. And this is the hotline. The hotline, they use the hotline focus on internet safety issues or internet addiction caring, and also internet addiction. And this is the international collaboration. As you can see, this is Yahoo, Japan, and also Fuzzy in New York. And this is also in American, and this is from the Hong Kong and also Macau. And also we have visited MDA Singapore last year. Okay, so I hope during this Asia Pacific Regional Internet Governance Forum, we could become a strong ties to focus on the global, also Pan-Asia children's online safety action. Because I think for the children, internet pornography, it's illegal everywhere. But for adult internet pornography, actually depends on, when I visit Japan, they say they also worry about some adult internet pornography because some might have the bad effect for the children, but they don't know how to take care. So I think this forum is very important because we need to pay attention to the Asian cultural values. This is our hotline service and also the online complaint website and also the prevention website, educational website. So maybe we can have some more time to discuss later. Thank you.
Right, thank you. As the clock tells me, we've got 10 minutes to go for this session, so looks like we can't filter time, although we might try and filter other things. Look, so in the interest of time, I don't have slides. I'll just make a few comments. One of the earlier speakers mentioned ISOC's collaborative security framework. That I think is an interesting way to try and address the issues, and it's been used in other forums as well. I won't go through what is inside the collaborative security framework. It'll take too much time, but what I'll just read out are the 5 key elements that compose that. 1 is fostering confidence and protecting opportunities. 2 is fundamental properties and values, so protecting human rights, for example, and the permissionless innovation properties of the internet. Evolution and consensus, so that means we can't do things in isolation. People have to agree to reach consensus on something so we can address the issues together. And thinking globally but acting locally. Sometimes we talk about great initiatives and projects in a very nice way, but the implementation locally is where I think the real impact will be, and that's what we need to focus on. The 5th one, which I think for me is the most important one, is collective responsibility. No one entity, no one stakeholder group has the responsibility to ensure all this happens. We as internet users, consumers and creators both, we have a collective responsibility to try and ensure that security exists. It's the actions we take, but as well the actions our peers take, the actions our companies and organizations take. So we can't point the finger and say, okay, it's your responsibility to go and fix security on the internet. It's not, because it has to be collective responsibility. Private sector, public sector, internet companies, the education system, I think, is also a very important component in that. So I'd invite you to have a look at the document. It's a PDF. It's freely downloadable from our website, isoc.org, isoc.org. And I think that it's got a great discussion and narrative around the collective, collaborative security framework and how that could perhaps be implemented. So that's one thing I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to say was, late last year, we started trying to see what was happening in the region in terms of child protection, digital citizenship, and so on, particularly aimed at kids and youth. And what we found was there's lots of things happening by individual countries and agencies, but there was no real resource we could go to where it sort of listed out everything that's happening. So we struggled with that for a while. And as a result of that, we decided to do a little mapping exercise this year with the help of Google. ISOC is currently engaged in that process. We should have some results out of that probably in the fourth quarter. And basically what we've done is identify 18 countries in the region with 3 different sets of internet penetration levels. Because the other thing is what you've seen here, the developed countries are doing great things in terms of protecting their children. But as we all know, most of the newer users that are coming online are not coming from developed countries, although they are. There is a segment there too. But it's the developing and emerging economies which are contributing our greatest number of users. And I think they're the ones at the greatest risk. Usually the education systems and the country itself doesn't have the resources to go and implement a digital literacy program for kids, for example. So I think that's where perhaps if we take collective responsibility, some of the more advanced countries may want to help out some of the developing and emerging countries in the region to try and see what help they could provide. One very great point that was made by Sakamaki-san, I think, was that the internet literacy has to start very young. And when I was at school and university, I only got to know what a CPU was and what a VDU was. So you can see my vintage from that. And that was quite late in my education life. But kids today are literally born digital. And sometimes you say the parents have responsibility, but not necessarily, because the kids tend to know more about this technology than the parents do. And particularly if you look at the developing countries, that's even more so. So I think there's a lot of work that can be done with collaboration, a lot with cooperation, and I think mutual assistance as well. So I'll stop there. I'm hoping we have some time for discussion, because I see a lot of youth in the audience, and I think we need to engage them in the conversation too, and not this table only. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for this. Because time is pressing, so I'd like to make a presentation on our activities to combat against illegal and harmful online contents. Could you give me a... yes, thank you. There it is. So, actually, we believe that self-regulation by the private sector is indispensable while, maintaining a free flow of information. So that's why, we established Safer Internet Association called SIA, and to have been addressing these issues, illegal and harmful online contents. So first of all, I'd like to explain what SIA is. Oh, does it work? Yes. So the SIA is a non-profit and non-governmental organization founded in 2013, and this is a kind of voluntary efforts by the IT companies. So so far there are 3 companies, 3 regular members, 6 supporting members, and also the associated company. And actually, our activities are evaluated as one of the positive steps by the UN Special Rapporteur in 2015. And also, we became a provisional member of the Internet Association of Internet Hotline InHope in May 2016. This is the kind of international cooperative framework, among Internet Hotline centers. So, what's SIA's activities? Actually, SIA is conducting various kind of activities, but mainly responsible for 2 hotlines. The one hotline is conducted by a domestic NPA National Police Agency called Internet Hotline Center, which mainly focuses on illegal and harmful online contents in Japan, domestic one. And Safer Operation is another one, which mainly focuses on the illegal and harmful online contents out of Japan. So there are 2 hotlines. And why the latter, safer operations are important is that because it is sometimes quite difficult for the NPA IHC hotlines to deal with illegal online harmful contents abroad because due to the jurisdictional issues. And but at the same time, most of the illegal and harmful online contents are posted in foreign websites. So it is unavoidable for us to deal with, this kind of, foreign or, illegal and harmful contents. So next page. Oh, what's this? Could you? Okay. Okay, sorry, interpreting. So as I mentioned before, yes, a significant portion of all illegal and harmful online contents received and detected by SIA, was posted in foreign websites. as you can see in a map, about total 95% of, online contents are from foreign countries. And in case of child sexual abuse materials, we call CSAMs, as, about 97% of all, contents are from foreign countries. So now we're going to take a closer look at the 2015 statistics. As written in a slide, SA made a total of 6,898 removal requests. And also, out of these requests, 5,239, about 76% were deleted. And the number of child pornographers removed was 4,333, 79%. So we can say this, our activities can be, is successful. And also, we're going to take another, statistics. So the number of removal requests for child pornography has drastically increased from 86 in 2014 to 5,466 in 2015. This is very remarkable. But the rate of removal remains relatively high because of our activities. I can say this kind of things. So, oh no, sorry. This is all. So, in conclusion, I can say that, self-regulation by the private sector, is, kind of effective, to regulate or to, remove, illegal harm online contents. But, at the same time, we need a kind of, binding force or enforcement power to, restrict this kind of online content. So the, government has a, important role in, regulating this kind of things. But the most important thing is to, the cooperation between public and private sectors. So we, we'd like to, work together with many stakeholders as possible, and, try to, improve our, the rate, just I explained before, the, try to improve this rate further and try to, request more removable and try to, get kind of a success result on this matter. So thank you very much for your kind attention. So I'm going to move to the final speakers, Ms. Fong. So please start your presentation.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. And I know that time's running out and you are hungry, right? I finished my presentation so fast. My name is Hương. I come from a not-for-profit organization in Vietnam. And my presentation today will focus on the development of internet in Vietnam, the threat. In another word, it could be the disadvantage and how the solution can work with that. Let's see some statistics of Vietnam. That's about 50% of population are active internet user, and they are like their activities on the Facebook. The mobile phone is so active as well, and with the youth, Facebook is the most like favorite networking site, social networking site in Vietnam, and you can see the age of the active user under 30. And with the development of the internet, it also brings about so many threats. In another word, it can say that a disadvantage of the internet. The first, so many people were stolen the money because they was hacked credit card or online online account. The second, the Facebook. Also, the people was hack their Facebook account, and then maybe some girls was posted by their ex-boyfriend about the secret video, secret photos, and then they feel so ashamed with the public, and they go to suicide, kill themselves by that problems. And also, there's some message was sent via Facebook, and it's steal money from people using that social networking site. The those also get addicted to online game because it lead to the social evils such as become the thief, becomes the model to have money to play game online. And the most issues, the most dangerous problems is the sexual abuse via internet. You can see the sexual issue become higher and higher every year in Vietnam, and the forums of the pornography develop so fast. Which you can see that the age of the films from 6 to 12 years old in that forum. With these threats, who protects them? Here you see the government, the internet service provider, the school, and families. All of them are protect the kids under the umbrella. Yes and no. Because with the government, the law, there are some laws that comes and protects the kids, the youth people under with these threat from the internet. But in the fact, the law is not strictly followed. The service provider try to ban some harmful content from internet, but it not works that way. People can find the firewall to get over it and then access the content that they want. School and the parents is similar, like Mr. Sakamaki said that they trust their children, but it doesn't work that way, right? So we say that they protect the kids with the avoid of the internet disadvantage effect, but it's not very successfully. But what works effective in Vietnam environment? We see the Facebook campaigns. It is a cooperation between the non-profit government organization, organization and the celebrities in Vietnam. We raise a campaign to acknowledge people how to online safety. It named and avoid being hacked by Facebook. And then we make a contest how to online safety. Oh, sorry. There. Here. That's a campaign with 90 people like it and join it. And the contest with 10,000 people like and join it. And then we have some guidance via media and families. There's a lot of content, newspaper articles in the newspaper in the media to teach people, to teach parents how to help their kids go online safety. And we also see the very first stage of the cooperation between the government, NGOs, and enterprise. We see it from the Ministry of Labor, Environment and Labor Affairs cooperates with UNICEF to raise a proposal about protection children in cyberspace. And IBM, you see there, cooperate with another NGO in Vietnam to build a lesson to show how to avoid sexual abuse via internet. And this one is the public-private partnership solution that we have in very first step. Vietnet ICT is our organization. Microsoft Vietnam and Ministry of Education and Training cooperate to deploy a project named Spark Digital Inclusion. The project aims to build a new training materials on IT subject to train secondary students about 5 topics. First, computer science. Second, basic office. Third, coding. Fourth, movie making. And lastly, is online safety. And the project is expected to implement in 3 years. And this year, 2016, is the first year, the pilot year. And we hope that we can bring the textbook to 55 secondary students in Vietnam. In the near future, we expect that this training material will be the textbook in the official lesson in the public school in Vietnam as well. And this is very first step of we can say is the public-private partnership solution to help the people, especially the youth, under the safe online environment. So we hope that with the participate in the forums, we can see and I can see the chance of cooperate with the Thai and the previous speaker of how we can apply for the younger student, not only secondary student, but also the primary or the high school student in the future. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you very much for all speakers, for the, excellent and wonderful presentations. Unfortunately, time is pressing now. It's 1:05, so I really want to get in that panel discussion debate, but actually it's impossible for, I think it seems like it's possible to, get in, the three key questions one by one. So if you have any any comments on the three key questions, please raise your hand and, speak up in front of people. Does anyone have any comments on three key questions?
I'll just emphasize again, it needs to be collective responsibility. That's one. Number two, what I'd just like to say, it's not, as soon as you tell the kid that I'm going to restrict something, I'm going to stop you from doing this, there's a tendency for the child sometimes to say, if you say I can't do it, that means I'm going to go and do it. So I think instead of placing restrictions, what we need to work on is empowering the children themselves to know what is right and what is wrong. Of course, that falls on a lot of people. It's the education system. It's also the parents. It's also peers around them and the elders and so on. But I think empowerment may be one way which we can see how we can address the issue. Because I'm not sure restrictions is going to work out in the long run. We can start filtering things and so on, but what you find is a lot of kids are able to circumvent those filters very quickly. So there's also that issue as well. Let's see how we can empower kids better to make the right choice, to make the right decision, to know what's right and wrong. So that's all I'll say. Thanks very much. And great to be on the panel. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. So finally, I'd like to invite some questions from the audience. Okay, thank you.
Testing.
Oh, all right. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, my name is Lassine. I'm from Burkina Faso, and I have a question for Mr. Dr. Yokozawa. Yes, you just said the common concept accept that adults should protect youth, right? And you said youth and child should protect themselves. But I would like to know, how do you think youth and child should protect themselves? Should we have a kind of special education for the youth and child to protect themselves, or how do you feel about it?
Thank you very much, and I will be quick. I'm just showing this one. You always know, you all know about this, okay? And I don't spending time to speak about this, but this is exactly we are facing. We don't know how is the next threat to the young and child. So this is a very good example. So, well, answering to your questions. So the threat, we, the adult or the parents, don't know about this, how this threat comes to our child, our son or our daughters. So they have to know, they have to know what is good and what is bad, and how the threat is coming. So yes, you are right. The education, the word is correct. That it's not only a simple education. It's a phenomenon, but just telling the phenomenon, but also just telling them the principles, the rules, and the fundamental, mechanisms that could select themselves. So this is some other, another aspect of the education we currently need to have the young people and child to be involved in this collaboration. So this is my answer, short answer, and I will talk to you later. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Also, I have another question for Mr. Sakamaki. Yes, you just say that. No, you talk about internet literacy assessment. I didn't really get what is it exactly.
You're talking about what it is?
Internet.
What the indicator is?
Like talking about the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communication of Japan. You talk about internet literacy assessment.
Assessment indicator.
Yes, and you say the program that you cannot say in English. I don't know.
Huh?
Yes, you mentioned a name of some program that you cannot say it in English. I don't know what is it exactly.
I don't know. I didn't say that. But what it stands for? Or what? It's Internet Literacy Assessment Indicator for Students.
Yes. I didn't get what is it exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Now I got your question. It's the sort of the research we did the research to visualize the literacy level of the young people. So we did a lot of tests. I mean, tests with the number of questions to do research on what kind of risk that the young people are aware of. What kind of the malicious website, or we wanted to find out whether they are aware of the potential risk of the website and so forth. So in this chart, it's not there, but like security risk, illegal information risk, a lot of copyright things, and also the child porn things and the illegal things. Privacy risk, you might get involved in the trouble with the your privacy data, caught by the website holder. I didn't want to mention it, but my son got involved that because and harmful information risk. Some people do bullying and speak of each other in the SNS and not Facebook, but a lot of blogs and so forth. And if we want to find out whether they are aware of this, and that's the indicator. So the test shows the result is the correct answer rate was in 2015 69.7%. So 30% of the answers were not correct. So young people need to get educated on the potential risk of the internet use, and that's the indicator, the ratio of the awareness of the young people, whether they are aware of the potential risk. I hope I answered okay.
Yes, thank you. I have another question for the third speaker, Ms. Wei Huang. For the iWin program, I heard that you start iWin since 1999, right?
I will explain.
Oh, all right. But I would like to know how you feel about the suicide of the Taiwanese model in just last year. I would like to know how iWin feel about it.
Suicide, you mean internet suicide or something?
I mean, like there is a model last year, a Taiwanese model. She committed suicide due to cyberbullying.
Oh yes, the cyberbullying issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, since then I think it's less the end of last April, something like that. So we expand our iWin hotline service. Before, we only focus on internet safety issue and also internet addiction, something like that. But after that cases, we expand our service not only for children, but also for any people's internet cyberbullying. And also the iWin program starts from the August 2013. But for our volunteer, the volunteer and parents action, it's since 1999. Yeah, and also from my understanding for that internet literacy assessment in Japan, because we visit Japan 2 years ago, we also discussed with, I think it's not SIA, but the IA Japan. They will pose several questions and encourage the the primary school students to fill out and to know which degree they already attend to, like to be internet addiction or not internet addiction. But in Taiwan, we will do the social survey every year, and we'll pronounce it every August for our press conference. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much for the wonderful and excellent questions. So now I have to close this session. So thank you very much. I really thank all the speakers for the excellent and wonderful presentations, and also the excellent wonderful questions for the audience. And thank you very much for your attendance and kind attention and your attendance. So the most important thing is not discussion, but implementation and reporting. So we like to hold a similar session in the global IGF or in the next APrIGF. So we hope to be able to see you again and try to update our progresses. Thank you very much for today. So the meeting is adjourned.